Welcome to this video lecture. In the previous classes we have studied about different types of noise present in continuous wave modulation systems. They are broadly classified into internal and external. External noise are the noise coming from sun, star and other environment, and internal noises are the noises which are generated inside your receiver circuit diagram only. Okay, all the noises which are generated outside the receiver circuit diagram are called external noise. If there are any noises present and generated inside your receiver communication receiver system, those noises are called internal noise. Okay, there are different types of internal noise what we studied in the previous video lecture. The first one is partition noise, flicker noise, short noise, thermal noise, and then white noise. Okay, we understood about so we have studied about all those noises already: partition noise, flicker noise, and short noise, thermal noise. Everything we know. Now the another noise which is of type of internal noise we have to study, that is nothing but white noise. So we have to study about white noise. So this is also one of the most expected question. So write a brief note on white noise or explain white noise in briefly with necessary equations can be asked. So white noise is a type of internal noise only. You know that internal noise means it is generated from inside of your receiver system. Okay, so it is also internal noise which is generated by the components used, electronic components used inside the receiver system. So this type of noise is particularly called as white. Why not they can use as pink noise or a green noise? Why there is no other color given as a name? Only white is the name given to represent this noise as white noise. We will see that later. We will get to know why it is specially called as white noise. So it is a type of internal noise which is generated by the electronic components used inside your receiver system of the communication. And all noises are random in nature, that you know. So I can call this white noise also as random noise signal, or instead of calling it as signal, I can also call it as process. Okay, usually in statistics we have an habit of calling, instead of random signal, we have a habit of calling it as random process. So I can call white noise as a random in nature. All noises are random in nature, and it is specially called random process. For any random process, it contains three important equations. That is, first one, probability density function, PDF, and second one, autocorrelation, and the third one important equation, power spectral density. So you can call it as PSD in short, power spectral density. Along with this PDF and autocorrelation, power spectral density, for any random process you can even have mean, variance, autocorrelation, covariance. Many things will be there, but these three are the main important characteristics we use to understand the white noise. Okay, white noise is a random process or a random experiment or a random signal which contains probability density function, autocorrelation and power spectral density. Now let us see what is this power spectral density equation, how it looks like for a white noise. So if you consider the power spectral density PSD for a white noise, see, white noise can be represented as W of T. Okay, so we are going to use the notation as W of T for the representation of white noise. And this noise is a continuous time signal. That is why I have written T inside. Okay, W stands for white noise, W of T. T stands for continuous time signal noise. Now for power spectral density, we can write it as capital SW of F. Capital S stands for power spectral density notation. W means it is the power spectral density of white noise, and inside bracket F, that means the power spectral density is always in frequency domain. Okay, that is why I am writing SW of F is equal to N0 by 2. Okay, please remember there is no derivation for power spectral density of white noise. Only you need to remember this equation. SW of F, power spectral density of white noise, is given by N0 divided by 2. This N0 is a constant. It is a number. So N0 by 2 is also a constant. So I can write this N0 by 2 is nothing but a constant. It is a number constant. Is it varying with respect to frequency? No, it does not contain any F term at all. Okay, if F term is not there, that means for 100 Hertz also the power spectral density is same. For 1 kilohertz also the power spectral density is same. So for any frequency the power spectral density is same. That means your power spectral density of white noise is independent of frequency. It does not depend on frequency. It is a constant. Okay, now we can write this N0 is a constant, no? Whatever is there in the numerator, that N0 is nothing but your K into TE. N0 is nothing but K into TE, where K stands for Boltzmann constant. It is a constant, Boltzmann constant, and TE means it is TE stands for it is noise equivalent temperature. Noise equivalent temperature. Okay, this is also one of the noise which is generated because of heat in the electronic systems only. Okay, and how it is generated, that is not important for us. For white noise, what is the power spectral density, autocorrelation, and power probability density function, that is important for us. Okay, so it is a noise which is generated inside electronic device due to random electron movement because of temperature of the devices. That's all. Okay, now we came to know N0 is K into TE. Now this is your power spectral density. PSD is given by N0 divided by 2. Now can we calculate autocorrelation? If you know power spectral density, we can easily calculate autocorrelation. Okay, so autocorrelation is represented as RW of L. Okay, this L stands for lag variable of the autocorrelation. It is like time domain. For any time domain signals, we write it as a T inside the bracket. Now, so instead of writing T for autocorrelation, you have to write another variable called as L. L stands for lag variable. It is a x-axis for autocorrelation. That's all. So lag variable. Now, how to find this autocorrelation? We know that if you take the Fourier transform of this autocorrelation, if you take, then you are going to get the power spectral density of the noise. What is the relation between autocorrelation and power spectral density? Fourier transform of autocorrelation gives you power spectral density, and inverse Fourier transform of power spectral density gives you autocorrelation. Now, how to find this RW of L? RW of L can be found by it is equal to inverse Fourier transform of SW of F. Now let us substitute this value. The formula for inverse Fourier transform is minus to plus infinity SW of F and then e power plus j 2 pi F into L differentiation with respect to frequency F. Now let me substitute if you substitute integration minus to plus infinity SW is a constant, and then if you put constant take outside, and then integration of e power is going to give you an infinity. Okay, and because the Dirichlet condition is not satisfied here, that's why this is not the method to find inverse Fourier transform for a constant. Okay, from Fourier transform signals and systems knowledge, we already know what is the Fourier transform, what is the inverse Fourier transform of a constant. We already know that, right? So directly let us use that concept. Instead of using the basic formula of inverse Fourier transform, let us use the formula which we know already from the signals and systems to find inverse Fourier transform of a constant. So what is the formula? We know that we know that delta of t, if you take Fourier transform, you are going to get the answer as 1. Similarly, if you take Fourier transform of 1, then you are going to get the answer as, if you take the inverse Fourier transform of 1, then you are going to get the answer as delta of f. Okay, delta signal will be converted to 1 if you apply Fourier transform, and 1 will be converted to delta of f in if you take inverse Fourier transform. Okay, I'm sorry, this is equal to because you are taking inverse Fourier transform, no? So then if you take inverse Fourier transform of 1, then you are going to get the answer as delta of t. Okay, delta of t. I have just reversed this equation. Delta of t will give you 1, and 1 will give you inverse Fourier transform, will give you delta of t. Okay, so similarly, now what do you have here? Here you have inverse Fourier transform of n0 by 2. SW of f means n0 by 2. n0 by 2 is a constant, take it outside. So n0 by 2, if you take outside, then you will get inverse Fourier transform of 1. So what is inverse Fourier transform of 1? Delta of t. So n0 by 2 into delta of t. I should not write t inside the bracket. Why? Because instead of t, for autocorrelation, what is there inside the bracket? For time domain, L. That L you should write here instead of t. So n0 by 2 into delta of L. The same concept I have used it here. Okay. So inverse Fourier transform of 1 is going to give you delta of L. So now this is your RW of L. So what is RW of L? RW of L is nothing but the autocorrelation of white noise W of t. Now let us plot the both this power spectral density and autocorrelation on a graph. How do we get if you plot? So I am going to take this as frequency domain. And then frequency domain means I have to write power spectral density, and it is called as SW of f. How you have to write SW of f? SW of f is a constant, correct? No? SW of f is equal to n0 by 2. It does not vary with respect to frequency. So I have to write a straight line for SW of f, n0 by 2. So I have to write a straight line here. So here SW of u, for whatever the frequency, it is a constant line everywhere. It does not vary with respect to frequency. And what is the amplitude of this constant line? It is n0 divided by 2. n0 divided by 2. Okay, so now if you sketch this autocorrelation function, how you will get? This is in frequency domain, and here if you want to sketch RW of L, autocorrelation function, then I should not take it in frequency domain, because autocorrelation is in time domain. Time domain I have taken it as L, so you have to take it as L. Now for this autocorrelation, how you are going to get? It is equal to n0 by 2 into delta of L. You know how to sketch a delta of L signal, right? Delta of L signal is only at L is equal to 0, you have RW, you have a arrow mark, delta signal. So I am going to write at L is equal to, at L is equal to 0, I have to write a delta signal like this. So this delta signal amplitude is equal to n0 divided by 2. So the amplitude of the delta signal is n0 by 2. So the amplitude of delta signal is n0 by 2. The RW of L is equal to n0 by 2 into delta of L. Because this delta of L, I have written a delta signal, impulse signal at L is equal to 0. And what is the amplitude of delta of L? n0 by 2. That's what I have written here. So you can see here, in time domain, autocorrelation, this is your autocorrelation function. This is your autocorrelation, and this is your power spectral density. So in time domain, autocorrelation function is a delta signal. Okay, and when you take the Fourier transform, it becomes like this. And how it becomes? It is like if you run all the colors at one particular speed, then you cannot differentiate all the 7 colors. You know that there are total 7 colors, VIB-Gayor. And if you run all the 7 colors at one particular speed, you cannot identify which is which color. What is that you are going to get if you run all the 7 colors at one particular speed, you will get a white color. Correct? No. So inside that white color, actually it is not white color, but when you run the 7 colors, it will look like a white color. Correct? So what is contained, what is present inside the white color? It contains all the colors inside it. Correct? No. That is why what this impulse signal contains? There is only one impulse signal present at 0. But when you apply Fourier transform, it expands and it shows that it contains all the frequencies. See, for whatever the frequency, there is a power spectral density for the white noise. Okay, that is why the name for this noise is called as white noise, because white color contains all the different colors inside it, and it means that this is a particular noise which contains all the frequencies inside it. That is why it is specially called as white noise. Okay, now this is power spectral density autocorrelation for the white noise. The graph I have shown. And after this graph, you should also understand what is this average, what is the average noise power present inside your white noise. Okay. You know that power spectral, we know that, what is it we know? Power spectral density is given by N0 by 2, and its diagram looks like this. Okay. Now you need to find the average power of noise. Now we need to find the average power of the noise. Remember always, the formula for average power of the noise is nothing but RW of 0. Okay, whatever the autocorrelation function you get, in that autocorrelation function or equation, you put L is equal to 0. That if you do, then whatever the answer you get, that is called as average power of the noise. So what is the expression for average power of the noise? RW of 0. And you can get one more expression for average power of the noise. You can also call, you can also call it as, it is the expectation of W square of T. Okay, if you put autocorrelation L is equal to 0, what is that you are going to get? You will get, what is autocorrelation actually? Autocorrelation is E of W of T into WT, right? So if you put L is equal to 0, W of T will be multiplied, and then you are going to get E of W square of T. Correct? No? And what is this E of W square of T? This E of W square of T is nothing but the variance of white noise. I have told this all formulas in my first video lecture. E of W square, E means expectation. If you find expectation of a squared random signal, that is called as variance. Okay, that parameter is called variance, and because here it is E of W square of T, that parameter is called as variance of white noise. And there is one more formula also. There is one more formula. You can also calculate average power of the noise as integration minus to plus infinity SW of F into df. This is also the formula you can use to find the average power of the white noise, or average noise power. You can use this formula also. So all these are the formulas to calculate average power. You can either use average power is equal to RW of 0 or E of W square of T, or you can take it as integration minus to plus infinity SW of F into D of F. Okay, so average noise power is nothing but variance. Okay, average noise power is nothing but variance of the white noise. How to calculate? Either you can use this formula, or you can use this formula, or you can use this formula. Okay, now let us find what is average noise power for this one. For what is average noise power? Average noise power is nothing but variance. Okay, so what is variance of the white noise? Variance of the white noise or average noise power, both are same. So that is given by RW of 0. What is RW? It is equal to N0 by 2 into delta of 0. correct, no? So whatever you have here delta of L, here I substituted L is equal to 0. So delta of 0. What is delta of 0? 1. So you are going to get variance. How to represent variance? Sigma W square. So sigma W square, variance of white noise, is given by N0 divided by 2. Variance of white noise is nothing but N0 divided by 2. So this is your variance of white noise. Now the probability density function of white noise is given by Gaussian distribution. You might have studied this Gaussian distribution in your mathematics probability. So the probability density function of white noise is a Gaussian function. It is a Gaussian distribution. Okay. So what is this Gaussian distribution? Fw of W is equal to 1 divided by square root of 2 pi sigma W square into exponential of minus W square divided by 2 sigma W square. So this is the formula for Gaussian distribution. You might have studied in mathematics, for any random variable, if it is Gaussian in nature, this is the probability density function. Sigma W square means variance of the white noise. W means the white noise itself. Again sigma W means it is your variance of the white noise. Remember, for white noise, the mean is equal to 0 and variance, you know that the variance is equal to sigma W square, which is equal to N0 by 2. Okay, so for any white noise which is of 0 mean, we call it as 0 mean white noise. Okay, and there is one more name for this. 0 mean white noise can also be called as additive white Gaussian noise. Okay, in short you can call it as AWGN. This is very famous in communication system. So you can call it as additive white Gaussian noise. So this much you need to write if they ask an explanation about a brief note on white noise. Now let us consider this simple problem. A white noise W of T. There is a white noise called W of T. This white noise W of T, it is a 0 mean and power spectral density is N0 by 2. We know that. Is applied to an LPF, low pass filter. To a low pass filter you are applying a white noise. And what is the bandwidth of low pass filter? B, capital B. And pass band amplitude response of 1. That means for the low pass filter, the pass band, whenever it is having pass band, the amplitude response is 1. Determine the power spectral density of noise N of T at the output of the low pass filter. N of T is the output of the low pass filter, noise again. So if you give a noise input as low pass filter, your output of the low pass filter is also noise only. And also find the autocorrelation function of filtered noise N of T. That means you need to find here, consider you have a low pass filter LPF. To this low pass filter, the input signal is noise W of T, and what is the power spectral density? SW of F is equal to N0 by 2. And what is the output here? This output is N of T, and you need to find out SN of F, power spectral density of the output, and also you need to find out the autocorrelation function of N of T. So for N of T also you need to find out what is RN, autocorrelation function. So for the input they have given power spectral density, but you need to find the autocorrelation of the output. And assume this low pass filter is having a transfer function of H of F. So what is that they have given? They have given that the bandwidth of the low pass filter is capital B. So you have to take in the between. So minus B to capital B. If they give bandwidth B, you have to take it from minus B to capital B. And what is the amplitude of the filter? 1. So this is your magnitude of H of F, because they gave it as amplitude response. No, that's why you have to write it as magnitude of H of F. Now can you write this in equation form? H of F magnitude can be written as it is 1 from where to where? From minus b to plus b. When frequency ranges from minus b to plus b, and otherwise it is 0. Correct, no? Now we know that how to find a power spectral density of output of a filter. So what is the formula to find power spectral density of output of a filter? There is no derivation. You need to straight away remember Sn of f is equal to magnitude h of f whole square into Sw of f. This is the formula you need to remember. For the output of any filter, if you have, okay, Sn of f is the output, power spectral density is given by magnitude h of f whole square Sw of f. Derivation is not there, you should remember the formula. Now here we will substitute the value of h of f. So Sn of f is equal to, h of f is what? It is 1, h of f square is there. So you will get 1 square for minus b to plus b only, and 0 else. So to this you have to multiply Sw of f. So what is Sw of f? It is given in the question as n0 by 2. So if you multiply, what is it? You are going to get Sn of f is equal to, so this is nothing but what? n0 by 2. So you multiply n0 by 2 with 1 square, you are going to get it as n0 by 2 for minus b to plus b. Okay, 0 else. So this is the output power spectral density, okay, of the low pass filter. This is the output power spectral density of low pass filter. Let us sketch and see how it looks like. How your Sw of f looks like. Sw of f is a power spectral density of white noise. For white noise, how does the power spectral density looks like? It looks like a constant, correct? No, n0 by 2. Now how the power spectral density of filtered white noise looks like? This is the power spectral density of filter, low pass filtered noise. For this, it is from minus b to plus b. From minus b to plus b, amplitude is n0 by 2. Okay, you see here, when you send this type of noise to as the input of low pass filter, because of low pass filter, this noise becomes like this noise. Only from minus b to plus b, you will get it as n0 by 2, and otherwise you will get it as 0. So this is the output power spectral density of the low pass filtered noise. Now we have to find the autocorrelation. So how to find the autocorrelation? Now, and you know that for the autocorrelation, to find autocorrelation of n of t, output of low pass filter. Okay, so you know that Rn of L is nothing but your Fourier transform of Sn of f. You know Sn of f, so you can easily calculate what is Rn of L. Correct, no? So what is Rn of L given by? It is inverse Fourier transform of Sn of f. So now what is the inverse Fourier transform formula? It is given by integration minus to plus infinity Sn of f into e power plus j 2 pi fl differentiation with respect to f. Now limits from where to where? What is Sn of f? We derived in the previous previously we derived what is Sn of f. It is n0 by 2 from where to where? Minus b to plus b. Okay, 0 otherwise. Now you apply this formula here. So instead of minus infinity to plus infinity, what is it you will get? Minus b to plus b. So you will get minus b to plus b. Sn of f is what? n0 by 2 into e power plus j 2 pi fl df. So n0 by 2 is constant, take it outside. So n0 by 2, what is integration of e power j 2 pi fl? E power j 2 pi fl divided by j 2 pi l. Okay, f you should not write because integrating with respect to frequency. Limits from minus b to plus b. Now what happens? n0 by 2 into j 2 pi l, constant you take outside, upper limit minus lower limit if you do, you will get e power j 2 pi, instead of f you put upper limit b l minus lower limit, instead of f again you put minus b, so e power minus j 2 pi bl. Okay, so now what happens? So you take n naught divided by 2 pi l, 2 pi l. Now you take another remaining thing is j 2 pi bl minus e power minus j 2 pi bl divided by 2j. Okay, now what is this term called? E power j theta minus e power minus j theta divided by 2j. That can be called as sine theta. So instead of theta what you have? 2 pi bl. Okay, now one more formula you can write, sine pi theta divided by pi theta can be written as sinc theta. You know this formula from your signals and systems, so I can apply that formula here. But what is the missing term? If you want to apply this formula, pi theta by pi theta should be there. Pi is there, theta means 2bl, but in the denominator 2 pi l is there, b is not there, so you have to divide and multiply by b. Okay, so what happens now? Divide and multiply by b. So now what happens? N naught into b. Okay, sine pi into 2bl divided by pi into 2bl. Okay, I am rearranging the term. So now what you can write? Sine pi theta by pi theta can be written as n naught b into sinc theta. Theta means 2bl. Okay, so this is your autocorrelation function of the output of the low pass filter. Rn of L for the low pass filter output, you got it as n naught b into sinc 2bl. If you sketch this signal, you are going to get it like this. If you sketch this Rn of L, how to sketch a sync signal? You know how to sketch a sync signal from your signals and systems. A sync signal is nothing but it keeps decreasing. Only at the origin you will get a highest peak, and after the origin your sync signal keeps decreasing. It is an infinite signal, it goes up to infinity. What is the amplitude? Highest amplitude, that is nothing but n naught into b. Okay, so whatever you got here, n naught into b, that is your amplitude. Okay, so now this is the waveform, and at this point you are going to get 1 divided by 2b. This point you are going to get minus 1 divided by 2b. So what is b? B stands for, it is the bandwidth of your low pass filter. Okay, so this is what asked in the problem. And one more thing I can find out here. What is that one more thing you can find out? Find out what is the variance of the filtered output. So what is the variance formula? Variance of n of t. N of t means output of the low pass filter. So variance formula is given by Rn of 0. If you put L is equal to 0 in the autocorrelation, you will get the answer for variance. Variance can also be called as average noise power. So what is the average noise power of the output of low pass filter, or variance of the low pass filter? Okay, so this is V, variance. So it is given by, put L is equal to 0 here. Put Rn of L is equal to 0. You will get n naught b into sinc 0. Okay, so you will get n naught b into sinc 0, SINC 0. Remember that sinc 0 is 1. Always remember sinc 0 is 1, that is found in mathematics. So answer is n naught into b. So this is the variance of sigma n square. Sigma n square stands for, it is the variance of your filtered noise output of the low pass filter n of t. Okay, this is the variance of n of t, n naught into b. B is the bandwidth of your low pass filter. So this is what asked in the problem. Now the problem is over. In this video lecture, let us learn about signal to noise ratio. Let us learn about a parameter called as signal to noise ratio, and in short form it can be called as SNR. Okay, signal to noise ratio. It is a famous term in communication system. Wherever if they call it as SNR, it is called as signal to noise ratio. Now what as the name itself indicates, if you take this SNR, that is nothing but the formula of SNR is nothing but your signal power at a point divided by, you have to take the noise power let me take at point number 1, and here also I have to take at point number 1 only. You cannot take a signal power at point 1 and signal power at point 2. Both you have to measure at the same point. If you measure both and then if you divide signal power and then noise power, that quantity is called as signal to noise ratio. How to define signal to noise ratio now? Signal to noise ratio is defined as the ratio of signal power to the noise power at the same point. You should measure signal power and noise power at the same point. Same point means either in the input side you have to measure or on the output side. Okay, so this is called as signal to noise ratio. Now what is the use of this signal to noise ratio? Why we need to calculate this signal to noise ratio? What happens when signal to noise ratio is very much greater? What happens when signal to noise ratio is very much greater? That means your numerator is greater. Numerator is what? Signal power. Signal power is greater and the denominator is lesser. That means what? Denominator is noise power. So noise power is lesser. Okay. So what does your SNR indicate? If the SNR is very much greater, that means the signal power is greater and the noise power is lesser. So is it good for a communication system? Yes. Because when the signal power is more and the noise power is very less, so the noise can be easily it can be neglected or it can be removed by using any of the filter, and therefore you are going to get a clean signal. Without any distortion, without any noise, you will get the clean signal. That is why if the SNR is very much greater, it is a good communication system. For any communication system you design, your SNR should be very greater. That then only you call it as a good communication system. What happens if SNR is very small? That means your signal power is very small. Your signal power is very small and your noise power is very large. So is it a good thing? No, it is a bad thing. Okay, because your signal is very, very small amplitude and noise is having very high power, means your noise is more dominated, and instead of getting a clean message signal, you are going to get a very much distorted message signal. That is why for a good communication system, your SNR should be very large. Now what is the formula for SNR? SNR is given by S divided by N. S stands for signal power, N stands for noise power. So I can write it as PS by PN. PS stands for signal power, PN stands for noise power. That can also be written as Vs square divided by Vn square. You know that power is nothing but voltage square. Okay, I have taken resistance as 1 ohms here. It will not come into picture. So power is nothing but voltage square. So PS is nothing but Vs square by Vn square. Now if you take logarithm on both sides, what is that you are going to get? If you measure SNR, if you measure it in decibels, dB. Right now what is the unit of SNR? There is no unit of SNR. Okay, because it is a ratio. Now if you convert this ratio into decibels, how to convert? You take 10 log on both sides. Okay, 10 log to the base 10, you will get a PS divided by PN. Okay, this is the formula for SNR in decibels. 10 log base 10 PS by PN. If it is voltage, then you will get 20 log base 10 Vs divided by Vn decibels. If it is in voltage, then you have to take 20 log. If it is in power, you have to take 10 log because of that square term. So both are the correct formulas. Okay, so by using this SNR only, your communication system will be tested whether it is good or bad. Okay, so remember, for whatever the communication system you design, the SNR should be greater. Now consider you have a single, consider we will take one SNR of a cascade system, cascade connections. If there is a cascade connections like this, consider there is one amplifier here, amplifier, and the amplifier gain is G. Assume that the amplifier gain is G. There is one more amplifier, second amplifier, and this amplifier is also having a gain of G, gain, and etc etc. There are so many amplifiers, and the input to this first amplifier, let me call the signal power is PS, and I'll get the same signal here, no? Okay, the signal power will be same here also. I will be getting PS only. Okay, and now what is the noise because of amplifier, first amplifier? Let me call, because of the first amplifier, the noise is PN1. Signal power will be same, you will be having same power, but the noise will be different. Why? Because the noise is generated inside the amplifier, no? It is an internal noise. That is why the noise generated by this amplifier is PN1, noise generated by this amplifier will be PN2, and so on. Okay, so now let me write what is the noise coming at this output of the amplifier 1, PN1. What is the noise at amplifier number 2? This is amplifier 1, this is amplifier 2. Noise PN2. Okay, now what is the signal power coming at the output of amplifier 2? Same. Whatever the input signal you gave, you are getting the same signal power. But what is the noise coming at the amplifier output 2? It is the noise of first amplifier and the noise of second amplifier added together. So the output noise of the second amplifier is PN1 plus PN2. The noise gets added. Okay, now assume that there are many number of sources present, and then you have a M amplifiers present. Okay, this is amplifier with gain G. Gain is G for everyone. All the amplifiers has gain G, but this is the M number of amplifier. This is the mth number of amplifier. Okay, so the signal power will be PS only, and output signal power is also PS. And what is the power of this? Power of mth amplifier is PN M. PN stands for noise power, M stands for the noise power of the mth amplifier, last amplifier. Now what is the total noise at the output of the mth amplifier? What is the total noise at the output of mth amplifier? I can take it as total noise power at output of M amplifier, last amplifier. Total output of mth amplifier. So the total noise power at output of mth amplifier is given by Pn. Pn is nothing but addition of first noise power, second noise power, third noise power, and so on. All the noises of all the amplifiers will get added up till the last noise power. Last noise power is Pnm. The last noise power is Pnm. Now assume that if you have identical amplifiers, if you have the identical amplifiers, can I write the noise generated by the first amplifier is equal to second amplifier is equal to third is equal to fourth, etc. That means the noise generated by all the m number of amplifiers are all same. So if Pn1 is equal to Pn2 is equal to Pn3 is equal to Pnm, and if you add all the noises, what is that you are going to get? You are going to get it as if identical amplifiers, the total noise power is nothing but m times Pn1. Okay, understood? If all the noises are same, then you can simply write it as, how many terms are there? 1, 2, 3, etc. up to m. So you can simply write it as m into Pn1. What is Pn1? Pn1 stands for the noise power of the first amplifier. Okay, so this is the total noise power if the all the amplifiers are identical in nature. Now let us take what is the signal to noise ratio at the output. Now the signal to noise ratio at the output is given by, okay, output SNR at your mth amplifier. What does the suffix m represents? It means the output SNR at the mth amplifier here. I am calculating what is the SNR at this output. Okay, you can take SNR at any point. I am taking SNR at the output of the mth amplifier. Okay, so this is your SNR. I am calculating SNR at this point. So now that is what I have written here. Output SNR at m. Output SNR at mth amplifier output is given by. Okay, what is the general formula for SNR? Signal power by noise power. So what is the signal power at the output of mth amplifier? It is same, PS only. It is PS only. But what is the total noise power at the output of mth amplifier? What is the total noise power you got at the output of mth amplifier? Here the noise power is same. Here the signal power is PS only. But what is the noise power at the output of mth amplifier? PS divided by PN if you take, you will get SNR. This is same. What is PN? PN is equal to M into PN1. That I will substitute now. So PS is same. Denominator is PN. PN is nothing but M times of PN1. Okay. Now you take log to the base 10. 10 log to the base 10 on both sides. Take log to the base 10 on both sides. So you are going to get output SNR for M in dB. You are going to get it in decibels. Okay. So if you take log to the base 10 for this term, what is that you are going to get? 10 log to the base 10 of PS divided by M into PN1. That can also be written as 10 log to the base 10 1 by M plus 10 log to the base 10 into PS by PN1. Correct? Now, if you have log A into log, if you have log of A into B, I can write it as log A plus log B. So log of 1 by M plus log of PS divided by PN. I can write it as like this using logarithmic identity. Now, can I write this as minus 10 into log to the base 10 of M. If you take the denominator M to the numerator, then minus sign will come for the logarithm. Plus, what is this term called as? 10 log to the base 10 PS divided by PN is called as your output SNR for which amplifier? Because you have PN1 here. Because you have PN1. This is for first amplifier. So this is output SNR. Output SNR. For which amplifier? First amplifier. This is for first amplifier and in decibels. Because why it is in decibels? Because you have taken 10 log. So I can call this as 10 log PS by PN1 is nothing but signal power by noise power. Which noise power? First amplifier noise power. Therefore, I can call this term as output SNR for the first amplifier and it is in dB. Okay. So SNR 1 dB. So now what is the final expression? SNR. All are output SNR only, no? So simply why to write output SNR? I will simply write it as SNR. Okay, it is understood it is output SNR only. I am not writing that word output. Okay, simply I am writing SNR. So SNR of mth amplifier in decibels is equal to minus 10 log 10 into M. Log minus 10 log to the base 10 of M plus SNR of first stage, SNR of first stage in decibels. So this is the formula you need to remember for solving the problems. Okay. The formula you need to remember. For what is the SNR at the final stage? Output SNR at the final stage is nothing but is equal to minus 10 into log M to the base 10 plus SNR of the first stage in decibels. And here you are going to get the answer also in decibels. You are going to get the answer also in decibels. So this is the formula you need to remember to solve any problems given in future, they will give the SNR of the first stage. You need to find out the SNR of the last stage. Capital M, how many stages are there? Those number of stages they will give to you. You need to find using this formula.